Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm very excited. Today it's another episode about private label. If you're new to the channel, my name is Sad Basim. I'm here to make you money with Amazon FBA, especially with private label, retail arbitrage, and wholesale. Please guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment if you want. So today we are starting in module 1, which is how to build a great foundation for your business before you start your Amazon FBA, which is a lot of us that really miss that part and they just go ahead and they just wing it. So it's very important for you to set up your company correctly, how to use EIN, how to use LLCs when you use a corporation, how to use Portless Banking if you're from outside of the States, and then the benefits about FBA and the business models that involved within Amazon FBA. So please, this is, I am coming out, I'm giving you the whole course for free. There's no shortcuts in it. It's not a teaser. Everything is step by step for you guys to follow and make money. So all I'm asking in return, please just subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you have any comment or question about the content that you see, leave it in the comment below section. So thank you so much and have yourself a wonderful night. Boom! Thank you so much for joining me again, guys, and I really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about a subject that's a little bit not very fun, but I know it's very important to set up your business correctly and to know the right information for you to build a business that's in really solid foundation. And please, try to follow as much as you can, because it's really important to have the right setup for a successful business. And I really think you should take your business really seriously, because the business that you're building right now is not a hobby. It's a real business that's going to give you income. So with the right foundation, you'll be able to build very good, solid business that with the right LLC, EIN, and all the stuff that we're going to cover today. So I'm just going to go ahead and see what we're going to talk about today. Today's module number 1, which is get set up. We're going to talk about EIN, LLCs, Borderless Banking, and FBA business models. So let's get to it right away, and let's see what we're going to learn in this mod, which is going to be what's an employer identification number, or as known EIN, why you need an EIN and how to obtain it, the benefit of a limited liability company, which is also called LLC. And also we're going to talk about borderless bank accounts to pay and get paid. This is very helpful, especially for people who are living outside of the States, but also people who are living in the States can use that as well. So I'm going to give you some recommendation. Also advice about your Amazon.com selling account. We're going to get into a few things here. And also the benefit of FBA, including the FBA business models and fulfillment models, because that's very important for us to know the business models, because I don't want people to, a lot of people have misinformation about the business models, and they always try to mess them up or trying to mix them up. So I would like to clear that right away, and also maybe open some doors for you guys to see another business model that really suits your risk tolerance and also will help you to expand your business as well. So disclaimer, as you know, guys, we are not attorneys or accountant, but we have extensive experience setting up companies and Amazon account in and outside of the US. As you guys know, I live in Canada and I have set up my company in the US. So I have a little bit of experience about setting up companies and how we go about it, but every situation is different. Also, always consult a professional for your specific business situation, because that's all depends on your situation. Basically, if you have families or you don't have family, if you have kids or you don't have kids, everything is going to be different situation for you, and it's going to be different setup depending on the country that you live in and the rules and what's best for you. So I really highly recommend you consult a professional that will really help you in your business situation. Why I'm saying that, because even that happened to me. Because when I first started, I didn't know much. And when I set up my company, I set up wrong and really cost me money in the beginning a lot, until I hired someone who's really good at it. And he was able to help me with cross-border banking and cross-border accounting, which is really important. So let's go ahead and let's talk about why you should consider a limited liability company, LLC, in or outside of the US. And I think that's really important. An LLC, or limited liability company, is a business entity that provides limited protection to your personal assets from debt incurred by the LLC, including lawsuits. So what does that mean? Basically, you want to separate your personal assets from the company assets or whatever company that you're creating LLC. So by creating an LLC, you will separate your personal asset, let's say your house, your car, whatever it's in your name that's personal, will be separate from your LLC entity. So if you do your business in that specific entity or LLC, anything that happens to that business, God forbid, I don't know, you get lawsuit, or you basically get in debt, or you want to go bankrupt, this limited liability company or LLC or the entity itself will protect you from people or the people who are suing you to get into your personal assets. So creating LLC really cheap, and also at the same time is going to help you a lot by protecting your personal assets and separating your business from your personal. You may choose to have your LLC set up by an accountant or attorney, or you can set it up yourself through a US state website, which is I will provide for you. But I highly, highly recommend that you hire attorney or accountant, because this simple thing is going to take a lot of time for you to learn how to do it, and you're going to waste time. I'm a big believer of hiring someone for the things that you don't know very well, and because you need to hire someone who knows their stuff very well, and it will be easier, a little cheaper, and you don't want to spend, months and months learning about how to set up LLC correctly. I know some of you have done it themselves, good for you, but if you really want to get through it very fast, I think you should hire someone. It's very cheap to do. I'm going to give you an option as well. The other advantage that you have is basically LLC offers tax advantages, which is really, really important. It's completely different than starting your business with sole proprietorship, because if you have sole proprietorship, that means you're acting as a person, as yourself, and you don't have as much tax advantages as if you're creating a company. Companies, they have a lot of tax advantages. For example, you can basically take advantage of, hey, write-offs. So if you have anything you bought for your house, for your office, if anything, don't do anything for your house. It's not included. But the things that you will do for your company or your office, for example, for me, if I buy a mic, if I buy a camera, if I buy a laptop, if I buy supplies, everything of that, I can take tax advantage, and I will be able to get a lower rate for it, which is really important. And I think tax advantage really, really helps you a lot and will increase your profit at the end of the day. So taxes and tax benefit vary by the state in which the LLC is formed, with Delaware, Nevada, and Wyoming offering the greatest tax benefits. I really recommend those states because of their taxes laws, and their laws is really toward the businesses and employers, which is really important, and they give them a lot of tax benefits. For example, for me, I have my companies set up in Wyoming because I really feel it's the best thing for us. It's good for taxes, and that's what I've been recommended. So you have those websites, you can go to them and you can check them out, Delaware, Nevada, and Wyoming. But I highly recommend, for myself, for Wyoming, I use that website, which is basically www.wyomingagents.com. It's really cheap. It's very cheap to set up your LLC there. And also the advantage of it, they help you a lot with the fact that you can set up an LLC and also having an address and an agent who takes care of you. So for example, people who are living outside of the States and they don't have an address, they actually can open up an LLC and they can have an agent and an address. So every information that comes in will go to the Wyoming agent and they will forward it to you. So that's a really good tip. And I think for anybody who's living outside of the States, they should use that. But if you're living in the States, it's way easier for you. You can put your own address, you'll be good to go. But I highly, highly recommend that website. And I have created all my LLCs with them and I have never had issue. Now, how to apply for EIN, especially in the US. Employer identification number is a 9-digit number. The Internal Revenue Service, which is IRS, which is you all guys know, assigns to business for the purpose of reporting and filing taxes to identify the taxpayer. So basically a number like how I showed here in the image, it's a 9-digit number that IRS uses to make sure that they track the person like you or the business entity, and they make sure they're reporting and filing their taxes correctly. So this important number, especially if you have an LLC or you have a separate entity than your sole proprietorship. EINs are required for business entities such as corporation, partnership, and limited liability companies. So if you have an LLC, if you have a partnership LLC, or you have corporation S Corp or C Corp, you will need EIN number, and IRS really needs that EIN to make sure that they track you, make sure that you're paying your taxes and you're not, escaping from Uncle Sam. Now, how to apply for EIN, I'm going to get into it, but sole proprietors, especially a lot of people, when I started my business myself, I didn't have the means to go ahead and hire, to create an LLC. I didn't have the money to go ahead and do a corporation like how I have right now in Canada, because it costs money. Because like, I think $2,000 for my corporation in Canada, and also it cost me $250 in the US. For me now is not a big issue, but before is a big issue, especially if you had limited amount of money. So you might choose to go with sole proprietorship, which is not required to obtain an EIN unless they are hiring employees or meet certain other criteria. So there's a special criteria that if you're sole proprietorship, you need to acquire the EIN, and that's only if you're hiring employees, and there's some other criteria that you need to get into. If you need more information about that, let us know and we'll put it in the Facebook group, and we'll make sure that you're being taken care of. But in most cases, sole proprietorship or sole proprietors can use their own social security number. So social security number, you guys know, is basically instead of having EIN, you can use your own social security, and you will add all the expenses, you will add your profit and your income and everything to your own taxes, so your own personal tax. So that's if you really want to do the sole proprietorship. But if you can afford a simple LLC, I think is much better and easier and has a lot of advantages. We recommend forming an LLC business entity to protect your personal assets. So EIN would be required. I highly recommend it, guys. Not only tax advantages, you want to protect your assets. You're getting into a new business, and a new business could have, you could have some mistakes, you could fail, it could be something happen to it, and you don't want the government to come after your own personal assets or your home just because of a simple LLC that you could have created for $250. Now, how to apply for EIN? You just need to go online and you'll be able to apply for it. But there's for people who are people who are from outside of the country or outside of the US, or foreigners like me, myself, you can do a few things. To open an account yourself, Amazon list of countries approved to sell on Amazon.com from outside of the US can be found here. So this is basically the link. The link, if you open it, is going to bring you to all the countries that you are accepted countries to offer for you to open an Amazon.com. So if you are in any of those countries, you can apply with the same information that you have in your current country, and you make sure that you open up your Amazon.com. But there's some cases you cannot do that, and we're going to talk about that hopefully if needed. But sellers can set up a business in an approved country or the US without an employer identification number, but Amazon and some freight forwarders may ask for an EIN to verify your company. So we recommend it. So for me, I'm just going to talk about my personal experience. When I created my LLC, I had to go ahead and apply for an EIN. There's a few ways you can do it, which is I'm going to explain in a bit. And this is really important for you to do. Now, for example, if you're living in a country that's not approved by Amazon themselves and not in the list that I just showed you, you can actually create an LLC in the US or in one of the approved countries, and you'll be able to go through the process and will open your Amazon.com account. It's a little bit will be tricky because you will need to open up not only LLC in the US or in an approved country, you need to make sure that you have Borderless Banking, which is going to give you the debit and the credit card that you allow you to open up the Amazon.com account. But I highly, highly recommend it. So important information, again, if you are setting up an US LLC, you will need an EIN. So make sure you have it. If you have a US LLC, you can obtain EIN with a short call to the IRS, and the IRS will mail the EIN to you. So that's exactly what we did us. When we created our LLC, we called the IRS, would like to get EIN, and we had to mail things, and they were able to mail us the EIN number. And if you want more information about it and how to get through it, this is the information. It's a big website, has everything that you need. Apply by online, apply by fax, and also apply by mail or telephone. For us, especially outside, we called and they told us to mail everything, which is the best. But it might vary from one person to another. Now, let's talk about Portless Banking. And this is, I think, is very important, especially for people who are not able to set up a US bank account, because setting up a US bank account is really could be a little bit difficult, especially for people who are living outside of the US. If they want to open a bank account in the US, they need to be in the US physically. And some of us or some of you not able to do that. So there is an authorized US banking that Amazon really accepts as a portless banking. And these are the options. You have TransferWise, offers an international MasterCard. You have Pioneer, which offers a prepaid MasterCard, but Amazon will not let you open your account with a prepaid card. But you will be able, once you open up and everything, you should be able to get the information that you need. And the other one is Ping Pong. I highly recommend Ping Pong myself. I had Pioneer, but they had a lot of issues. But Ping Pong, it really gives you a lot of advantages. And now all these companies, they offer you debit and credit card. And basically what happens when you get those information, you will be able to upload them to Amazon. Once you upload them to Amazon, you're gonna be fine. And let's say you start selling and everything is good, life is good. Amazon, when the time comes to send you the money, they will send it to your US virtual bank, which is Portless Banking. You send it to your account, and then from your account, from that account, the virtual account, you will be able to transfer all the money from that bank account to your local account, whether you're in the Middle East or you're in Asia, whatever you want, you'll be able to transfer the money easily. So it's really, really important. And a lot of people are going to ask me how those companies are allowed to open multiple US accounts. So what they do usually, then they have entities in the US and they go ahead and they open like thousands of bank accounts, US bank accounts. And then once they have them, they actually take that bank account and they assign it to you. And then you will have US bank account and everything is good.